Hello there, and thank you for watching my video. This is the pilot Captain Thomas flying the Boeing 787-900. Right now we are at Zurich International Airport runway 14, and we're gonna fly from Zurich International back to Zurich International, just over flying Switzerland and Germany. Right now I'm on the cockpit for the pre-takeoff preparation. I'm gonna make a brief explanation of some of the systems and set up the flight management computer and the autopilot, and make an engine start demonstration very quickly. So you can see here we have the cockpit. You can see the flight control the control yoke and the control column. We control the elevator of the aircraft and the ailerons and the spoilers with that by pulling it up and down. We control the elevator while turning the wheel left and right makes the ailerons and the spoilers in its wing turn left and right, as you can see here also. So this is the elevator and the rudder and some of the ailerons and spoilers, as you can see. So I'm also using this the side stick, the Logitech the Extreme 3D, to control the elevator and the ailerons as a control column and a control wheel. And also have the thrust levers, has the pit stream and the spoilers extended retract. So you can see how we control all these surfaces, like the elevator, as I told you. You can see the elevator moving up and down. And also the ailerons and the spoilers. So this is coordinated flight controls, so I'm gonna come very quickly inside, show you some of the systems here. So here we have the overhead panel. You can see we can control some of the systems here. So we have the electrical here, we have the batteries on, its engine is working right now. We have engine power from the left and right generators to supply electrical power, but we're gonna turn on the APU also. We're gonna turn this in the start and make an engine start demonstration. I'm gonna turn off the engines for that after. So we have a slow rate, low frame rates. So and to fix the frame rates a little bit. They're still slow. A little bit better. So I have turned on the APU now. If I turn this in the systems, you can see in this display we have the systems, we have the APU is running on right now, 82%. So we have the electrical, we have the APU generator here, the left and right engine, the hydraulics we have from its left and right engine, and some electrical demand pumps. So we have also the fuel, left and right wing and center tank, 67,000 pounds. The air system, it supplies compressed air from the engines, the doors which are closed right now, and the flight controls that I was showing you. You can see here, if I move the flight controls, you can also this displayed. You can see displayed here, like the for the control side stick that I use. So you can see the elevator. The control surfaces response over here in this screen. So this is so much for the flight controls. I'm gonna show you now in the overhead panel. We have the status, electrical, hydraulic, fuel. Gonna come over here and show you. So here is the electrical panel. Here is the hydraulics. Everything is normal right now because the engines are running. Here is the fuel, and here is the air system, the pressurizer. Everything is in automatic mode for starting the engines. We're gonna use these selectors for auto start the engines. We have the electronic engine controllers normal, they're on as they should be. So we're gonna turn off this. Still have the view here, so I'm gonna come here and just turn off the engines. So you're gonna see the engine power is going down, and we have the messages here. So if we come over here, you're gonna see the engines are slowing down as it should be. So we're gonna have no rotation in like a few minutes. So we're gonna have to start them. This is the Boeing 787-900 model, as you can see. So we're gonna come over here. You can see the reconfiguration. We have the message here from the generators, the hydraulics and the fuel pumps. So if we're gonna come here in this checklist, you will see hydraulics having problem with pressurization pumps from the engines, and the fuel, there is no fuel feed right now in the engines, and the flight control, there is no flight control now because we have no hydraulic power. So become here again. So I'm gonna show you how to start the engines. We're gonna come here in the engine start selector and make maybe the right engine first. So everything is gonna be reconfigured automatically, and we're gonna have the right engine start. So the N2 is increasing, which is the high pressure, high speed rotor stage. The N1, which is the low speed, low pressure stage, and the exhaust gas temperature right now. The fuel flow is 0 because we have no fuel flow. It's only the engine starter compressor, small turbine which compresses the air inside the engine for engine starting. So we have 24% right now, so we can start the fuel cutoff switch to the on position. So we have fuel flow now, as you can see here. We have this valve on. We're gonna have it in like after the auto start is gonna finish, we're gonna have the running message. So you can see here the engine is running again, while the other side engine is still off. And here we are, the auto start on. We're gonna have it running. Here we are running. while the left engine is still off. So we're gonna come here in the other side engine, the left starter. So we're gonna start the left engine now. You're gonna see the reconfiguration. We have the fuel flow here to the engine. So we have the N2 increasing here to the high pressure compressor stage, while the low pressure, low speed stage is still slow. The exhaust gas temperature very low, while the other is 471. The fuel flow is still 0. We only have some oil pressure here. As you can see, 24%. We are in a good position. Start this engine now. This is running, the right wing. Running with the left wing now. This one. So we're gonna come here and move this fuel cutoff lever to the run position. So you can see the engines are running rapidly. We have the auto start on here. Auto start. And we have the other side engine running also. And here we go. We have the auto start still on, while we're gonna have the running when the fuel flow here is reached the maximum. So we have the engine running now. So we're gonna come here and start maybe start some of the engines here. So we're gonna come here and select some of the systems. We have the model, the index, the ident, the position. So we have the position Lszh, which is the reference position for this aircraft right now. You can see the GPS here, the index. So we go performance, gross weight, fuel, reserves 5% here. So we're gonna have 5% fuel reserves, which is a lot for this flight. Gross weight 386 as here, and the fuel 66,800. So maybe I'm gonna change this to the CLU ND display, and maybe so we have the CLU here and navigation display here. So this is correct. When I come over here, set the flight altitude 35,000 feet. So we are like 17 minutes now running. The coast index 100. And departure arrival, route Lszh to Lszh. From Lszh airport to Lszh. runway 14. Departure arrival. So you will have the departure, index, runway on 14, trans Zuid Alpha, and then arrival, same arrival, runway 14 ILS, trans no. ILS 14, trans Negria 1 Alpha, select Amity. So this is the flight plan we have to follow here. This is a nice outside view again. We're almost ready. As you can see here, we have the cutoff switches for the stabilizer trim, we have the alternate pit stream, we have the parking brakes. So these switches remain as they are here, this and this. So we close them. We're only gonna use the flaps lever here. 5, 10, 15, position 15 maybe. 10, 15. So maybe so we are almost ready to take off. As you can see, we are in a good position. We only need to set up this the performance for takeoff. So we go to initialize the performance, cruising altitude 25,000 feet over here, 25,000, execute, and the thrust limit, which is gonna be flaps 15, center of gravity, trim 22%, 5% trim, as you can see, for this runway. Position and the temperature is gonna be like minus -12, and we have V1, V2, V-rotate and V2. So the legs, this is activated now. So we have the full flight plan here, and maybe I'm not sure. Gonna have a terrain and some data here, maybe the airports. And here we are ready to take off. So we have set the right position for the pit stream here. It should be like 5.1 degrees, so you can see the plan also here. So we're gonna leave this in the map. The pit stream at position 5 should be higher. So we are almost ready for takeoff, so maybe decrease the range. We don't need all these like that. So maybe we're gonna take off now. We're ready. We have like a few more minutes left. So we're gonna have a look outside with this beautiful aircraft. So maybe I'm not sure, come here and increase the thrust levers position. Use full takeoff, go around power. But before doing this, we only need to set up the autopilot here. So the flight altitude, and the heading is gonna be the runway heading. We also need the flight director on and the nav maybe. So the autopilot is still off. So we are set for takeoff. You can see the modes here. The flight director and takeoff go around. So if we increase the thrust lever position, takeoff go around, you're gonna see the engine thrust increasing here for the takeoff and also the modes here on. So we only need to disarm the parking brakes and we go. A 100 knots, 128, 146. So here we go, V1, V rotate, and V2. Retract the landing gear. And here we go. We have the Boeing 787 just after takeoff. So you can see the radio altitude here, 2,400 feet, the barometric altitude and the airspeed as we take off. So this is what, if I increase the range, you might gonna see a little bit more of the terrain that we have around us. Here we have the Boeing 787, beautiful aircraft. You can see the first waypoint we fly into. We're flying to Zui, as you can see. So we can have like the LNAV is on, the altitude hold turns on right now, and we turn on maybe the auto thrust with some more thrust here. So we need only to turn a little bit maybe retract some flaps here to a higher position. We don't need that many flaps. So we see the Boeing 787, beautiful views, a nice aircraft actually to fly. And we have quite slow frame rates, I don't know why. Maybe some of the visuals we use. So press some P options, settings, maybe display medium, maybe the traffic's a little bit less. Oh yeah, this one. Like 15%, and hope this is gonna fix it. Maybe we're gonna have some more frame rates. Maybe not crazy frame rates, but it's gonna be better than what I get at now. It's smoother now. This needs tuning, its simulation needs a different tuning, because now it's a little bit smoother. So you can see now we're flying over to the next waypoint. Maybe we track some floods, but we go very slow now. We're going to the stall speed, so we're gonna slow down the climb a little bit. But it's flying better, much better than it did before. It just needs some tuning. Maybe I'm gonna make a whole flight from New York, maybe. These aircrafts, so we have a few more hours. We cross 16,000 feet now. So this may be gonna work. I'm gonna have another view here. I'll have better frames, unbelievable. Maybe power up here. So this is the cockpit of the Boeing 787. We also have a nice view here. The hood display. Trans 19,000 feet. Keep having most of the visuals, which is a good thing actually. We have a little bit more airspeed now. It's the DirectX 10 that makes the simulation slow, but I cannot use the outside visuals. We're not gonna lose the outside aircraft view if I'm not gonna use the DirectX 10 for this aircraft, for the 787. So we have a nice view inside here. The cockpit, you can see. Maybe I'm gonna turn the autopilot on in a while. close to 23,000 feet now. Now we overflying Germany. We pass through Switzerland. So I'm gonna use the plan maybe. You're gonna see where we're flying. Past 33,000. So now we may have chemtrails in a while. Still not have them. I don't know why. Maybe we need higher airspeed. Now we reach our flight altitude. So I'm gonna connect the autopilot now in a while. So here we are at 25,000 feet. Trim it down a little bit. So we're gonna have an increased airspeed in a while. Not have the chemtrails yet, I don't know why. Maybe we need to climb a little bit higher. Maybe like 36,000 feet. Or 37, I'm not sure. So we're going back into the airport now. Still not have that. Maybe need a little bit higher. Like 27,000 feet. I'm not sure. But maybe it's gonna work. So we're gonna turn on the autopilot in a while. So here we are, 37,000 feet. Autopilot on. We're going to the next waypoint now. Maybe a little bit higher, I'm not sure. Sometimes 29,000 feet. was a nice test flight. So maybe we're gonna have the chemtrails in a while. Now we have the autopilot on. And we have to cross like 28,000 feet. Oh, here we have them. Now we have the chemtrails on. Not very good visualized, but better than nothing. And as we glide about to 28,000, we're gonna have a little bit more chemtrails. Here they are. So this is the Boeing 787. We're gonna come back into the airport in a while. This is how close now we are into the airport, so we need to descend. Across Matif and then so here we have the chemtrails. We have a beautiful view here outside with the Boeing 787. We have the autopilot on. Now we turn. So maybe we're gonna descend now to like 35,000. Like descend to 9,000 feet. $7,000 maybe feet. We start the descent. So now we're going to the airport. So we're gonna lower it down. Here we go. We're flying with Mach 0.64 right now. We need to start the descent. Minus 3,000 feet per minute. And here we have the descent. We are quite close to the airport. descent. Need like 7 minutes to descend, so maybe use some speed brakes to decrease the airspeed maybe. On your target, not 250 maybe. Like 200 knots is too much. It's 4 minutes to descend, so maybe we're gonna use an extend for the descent path. You can also see that here. To 1,000 feet. Keep descending. Past 18,000 feet. Here is the runway over here. So we need a small extend of the flight path maybe. Past 16,000 feet. The VOR localizer on. Maybe use the landing gear to slow us down. Trans 14,000 feet. Thirteen thousand feet. Keep descending. Maybe we're gonna make it. I'm not sure. So here we go. You can see the Boeing 787. We have the landing gear extended. This is how we're gonna land the aircraft. So maybe slow down a little bit more. Use a little bit more flaps. Disconnect the autopilot. So this is gonna slow us down a little bit. So you can see the runway here that we get into. We're in a good position here. As we go into land. So (1,000 feet). Here we are. We have the localizer on, the Lszh. 1,000 feet to go vertically. About a couple more of nautical miles. 1.5 maybe nautical mile in front of us. You can see the Lszh here. We are aligned almost very smoothly. 500 feet above the ground. Parking brakes and reverse thrust. Hope we have reverse. So now we have the reverse. Yeah, the blocker is on. Here we are. Just landed safely to the runway 14. We have the Lszh on, so you can see the Lszh is tuned here with the runway and the vertical glide slope, but I didn't show you that. I was looking up into the head-up display, the hood. So this was so much for this flight with the Boeing 787, the 800. So, and a little bit more lighting outside. So here we are. You can see the landing gear here and the nose wheel. It's perfectly safe. There is no blown tire from this landing. That was very safe flight and landing. So this is so much for the Boeing 787. And this is a nice view outside from the Zurich airport, as you can see. So you can see where we are here. You can see also the systems. We have no problem with the brakes, the gear, no problem. This is the gear. Hope you can see it. There's no problem with any system. You can see it's cooled down. And the brake fans are working. So you can see the status of the aircraft is clear. We have no problem. Only the autopilot is off. The electrical is normal. The hydraulics, there is no spillage. All the fuel. The air system is normal. The doors, the gear, the flight controls, the FS display, and the maintenance. So I'm gonna come back here. So the navigation display, as you can see, we also have the vertical, the VSD. It is working, it is not, I'm not sure. So this is so much for this flight, you can see. So that was Thomas, the captain pilot, flying the Boeing 787-900 in this flight. We fly from Zurich International Airport back to Zurich International Airport. Fly level 25,000 feet and higher up to the 39,000 feet with Mach 0.68 for 250 knots. The completed flight was flying Switzerland and Germany. So I'm gonna see you next flight, maybe the Boeing 787 like now or maybe another aircraft. Thank you very much for joining me. We just had a very smooth and nice landing and everything is perfectly normal with the aircraft, the Boeing 787. So thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Bye bye. also have this maybe you can see the performance here. You can use it, but it's gonna slow down the simulation a lot. So maybe I'm not sure. I need to tune this a little bit. Have very slow frame rate. I don't know why slow frame rate. I need to actually taxi the aircraft over there. So I'm gonna disarm the parking brakes here. You can see here we have the parking brakes. And maybe I'm trying to fix the frame rates. There's no difference with that. Cars, traffic, there's nothing. So maybe this is gonna help a little bit. The frame rate's target 10. So this is smoother a lot. So I'm gonna advance the thrust levers a little bit. Looks like a little bit smoother now. Trying to use on the weather to see. The weather difference. Some the parking brakes. A little bit better than before. Maybe it's a lower frame rate. So we're gonna turn here. The weather looks very bad with that direct extend. I have slow frame rates for some reason. So it's better like that, no weather. Not like that. So here we turn inside the taxiway. So if I'm increasing the range, you're gonna see a few more of the airport. Oh, which I forgot to mention, we can see the airport actually with this display here. It's nice. So we now know where we are in this airport. You can come very close to the runway. So this nice display over here of the airport. As you can see, the runways, the sound, the parking brakes. We are right here now, as you can see. And here is some other aircraft is supposed to be. It's the terminal of the very. So this is why we have so much slow rates with this aircraft. So I'm gonna see you next flight, guys. Thank you very much for joining this flight. Bye bye. You see some new features from this aircraft, like the map display of the airport, the navigation display, the head-up display, and electronic feedback over here. We only need to make a tuning, flight tuning for this. Thank you very much. See you next time. Maybe the sea we can see the terrain WXR. I'm not sure. We have either one. Station position data. So, gonna see you next time. Bye bye.